The Stonecutter, a Japanese folktale by Gerald McDermott. Tasaku was a lowly stonecutter. Each day the sound of his hammer and chisel rang out as he chipped away at the foot of the mountain. He hewed the blocks of stones that formed the great temples and palaces. He asked for nothing more than to work each day, and this pleased the spirit who lived in the mountains. One day a prince went by. Soldiers preceded him. Musicians and dancers followed him. He was clothed in a beautiful silk robes, and his servants carried him aloft. Tasaku watched until a magnificent procession had passed out of sight. Tasaku cut no more stone, and he returned to his hut. He envied the prince. He looked up into the sky and wished aloud that he might have such great wealth. Then he slept. The spirit who lived in the mountains heard him. And that night transformed the stonecutter into a prince. Tasaku was overjoyed. He lived in a palace and wore robes of the finest silk. Musicians played for him and servants bowed low. He commanded great armies and ruled over the land. Every afternoon, Tasaku walked in his garden. He loved the fragrant petals and graceful vines, but the sun burned his flowers. He knelt over the withered blossoms and saw the power of the sun. Tasaku wanted to be as powerful, so he asked the spirit who lived in the mountains to change him into the sun. The spirit heard him. Tasaku became the sun, and he was happy for a time. To show his power, he burned the fields and parched the lands. The people begged for water. Love the pictures in this one. Then a cloud came and covered him, and the bright rays of the sun were obscured. Tasaku then knew the cloud was even more powerful than the sun. He told the spirit to change him into a cloud. The spirit heard him. Tasaku became the cloud. With his new power, he made violent storms. Thunder rolled across the sky. Rivers overran their banks. Fields were flooded. Huts and palaces were washed away. But the mountain remained. Tasaku was angry because the mountain was more powerful than the cloud. "Make me into a mountain!" Tasaku demanded. The spirit obeyed and then departed, for there was nothing more he could do. Tasaku became the mountain. He was more powerful than the prince, stronger than the sun, and mightier than the cloud. But Tasaku felt the sharp sting of a chisel. It was a lowly stonecutter, chipping away at his feet. Deep inside, he trembled. And that is the end of the story.